Hello again from Pennsylvania. Good morning. We're pushing on through here, and man, it is a hot day already. It's only about 9 o'clock in the morning, but it's already pretty darn hot, and it's getting real humid. It's I don't want to say it's Florida hot and humid, but dang, it's pretty close. And so we are sweating our clothes out. One disgusting thing about this whole venture is you pretty much hike in the same clothes every day. So even though we sweated our clothes out yesterday, we got to wear them again today. Basically, you hike in the same outfit, and then you have a sleeping outfit, so that always, the outfit that you sleep in always stays fairly clean. We'll make it to camp, and we just bathe off real quick and then put the sleepy clothes on, so that stuff never really gets too tainted. But during the day when you're hiking, you just have to suck it up and run with these same clothes each day. The idea behind that is just to save weight. You just can't carry that much clothing. That stuff really adds up in weight. But anyhow, just hitting record and recording a little bit here as we go through some of these pastures in Pennsylvania. Coming across this road here is Sunset, also known as Lindsay, my beautiful wife. Hi. And just want to I recorded a previous video, and there was a comment on Facebook by David Vondenberger, my old friend David, asking about if I could explain some of the sleeping arrangements for this venture here. And I would be glad to, as a matter of fact. So you've got, I will pass. Here we go. We have, so the Appalachian Trail runs about 2,200 miles from Georgia to Maine. Throughout that 2,200, there's about several hundred, about 300 of these structures known as shelters. And they are scattered about throughout the trail. On average, about every 8 or 10 miles, there'll be a shelter. These are generally three-walled structures with one, like the broad front face of it is usually completely open. And they're built out of logs, sort of look like a log cabin in most cases, like a three-walled log cabin. There's exceptions to these rules. Sometimes it does have a fourth wall. Sometimes it has a door. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's windows, a loft, bunks. You never know what you're going to get. And they're also varied in size. Some of them might sleep 4 to 6 campers, and sometimes it's 12 to 16, 20 even. And then generally with these shelters, they're located somewhere near a water source, either a stream, a river, a creek, a spring, somewhere to get your water. And there usually is a privy or an outhouse. We call them privies out here. An outhouse built nearby the shelter as well, so you can do your business. Now those are varied, those outhouses, privies, they're different shapes and sizes as well. Sometimes they're not so bad, sometimes they're absolutely putrid. They can be pretty bad though. But yeah, generally they range from putrid to pretty bad. And anyhow, so we plan our days, our hiking days, around getting to that next shelter. Now, we don't necessarily sleep in these shelters because Lindsay and I have a tent. We have a 3-person tent, and as any of you who have camped know, a 3-person tent actually only sleeps 2 people. It's pretty good for us, 2 people. The 2 of us get in there pretty comfortably. But yeah, we like to camp near these shelters. We go on a flat piece of land that is located right around the shelter. So we get the amenities of the shelter, the water, the privy, and the peace of mind knowing that the shelter is there in case of inclement weather, if things turn south fast and we needed to get under a roof, that gives us that option to be in the shelter. But otherwise, we enjoy the cozy privacy of our tent, and that's where we are. And the tramway that we're traveling with also are tent campers. So we usually set up a little tent village near the shelter, and that's how we camp. So yeah, like I said, we plan our day to get to the next shelter, and that's generally been how we do it. But sometimes there's exceptions. Sometimes we find a nice camping spot in the woods before we actually arrive to the next shelter. It depends on mileage. Sometimes that next shelter is just a little too far for us to get to, and we need to set up camp a little early, so that happens. And then you might be asking, well, how do you know where these next shelters are? Well, I will tell you. We have several sources, actually. We have a great guidebook, an actual written book that you hold in your hand and flip pages, and that tells us all that we need to know about where the next shelter is, where the next water is, all the amenities that we can find on the trail, where's the next town, what kind of stores are there, etc., etc. And then we have backup to that, or actually sometimes we use it primarily. We have an app on our phone, and it's called Gut Hooks. And I recommend that to anybody that is going to touch any piece of the AT. This Gut Hooks app is incredible. It also tells you the shelters and the mileage to them, and it works. It works without a network. So even when we're out of network, which is often the case, this Gut Hooks app uses GPS to tell us where we are and how far to the next shelter, next water source, and all the other things that we need. So that's a really great app. But that's the gist of it. I hope I covered it somewhat. That's sort of how we do the sleeping arrangements. We set up our tent. We try to camp near the shelters where there's water and amenities for us. We have a cozy little, like I said, a 3-person tent, and that kind of works out just right for Lindsay and I. And we sleep on an inflatable mattress pad that goes below us. It's an ultralight sort of pad that fits just the size of your body. And then we have ultralight synthetic sleeping bags, and we're pretty cozy. Little mini pillows, and yeah, we sleep pretty well like that. It's not so bad. But I hope I covered it. I hope that kind of explains it a little bit, and it's really cool. I love to explain it and share some of the knowledge that we've gained throughout doing this whole thing. Any follow-up questions, just fire away. I'd love to answer them. And let me know what else we can explain out here. I know there's a ton of questions because it does seem weird. How do these two people live in the woods for 6 months? And I get it, because we were asking the same questions when we started to study the AT, and that was a few years back. There's a ton of questions, sure is. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your interest, and thanks for your support. We love all you guys. Talk to you later. See you later from Pennsylvania.